everybody, it's Trisha Lee up in Alberta, Canada, and I am pleased to bring you tonight's hangout on disruptive technology. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late. I'm still waiting for my business partner and associate, the esteemed Laurie Bertrand Lever, otherwise known as AK Larry Lever. Yeah, he's not here. But he is on his way. I am assured by my inbox. So anyway, I am just going to start things off first. And today we are just super, super excited about talking about our disruptive technology. I'm excited to hear what Larry's got to tell us about our new switches. I guess there are some switches that have been ordered from China, which it will be really, really great to get those, because that's something that we've been struggling with. Sorry, I'm just trying to find out where Larry is here. Anyway, this is always fun, these Google Hangouts. Sometimes they work really, really well, and sometimes not so much. But I don't blame Google. I'm pretty sure it is the internet connection. We are forever having difficulties with internet connection. So I don't know. I think anyway, we're in rural Alberta, Canada. That might have something to do with that. I'm not too sure. I know. My mentor that I work with out on a farm near where I live is, he doesn't go on the computer, so he doesn't use the internet, and so it's not as much, I don't good as single here or whatever. So anyway, I'm super duper excited about setting up all of the systems that we're planning to have to teach anybody and everybody out there how to duplicate our technology. Unfortunately, we're still kind of a little bit premature in our vision with that, because right now we still haven't exactly proven the technology. We have generated electrical current, but however, we haven't got it to where it will. Actually, it's kind of a funny story. I made a video about it. We did our big test, the Earth Day test, which is on our website at kingsss.ca, which stands for King Sunshine Solar Systems.ca. So on kingsss.ca, there's the video of this test that was over a year ago, ironically, on Earth Day. And it was the first test that we made electricity, and we're like, oh no, that's not as much electricity as what we're expecting at all. And so we spent over a year tweaking and changing and improving and doing everything that we could to boost the efficiency of our disruptive technology. And mainly Larry was doing, I was just paying for stuff and buying all the materials so that he could do the, what's the word? He could do the modifications on our prototype, that this patent pending prototype that we have here in Canada. So it's on Facebook. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. So, yeah, my son was just telling me that Larry was texting him. So I've got my phone in the car. So anyway, I talked to him on Facebook, and it looked like he was coming. So anyway, as I was saying, we were looking for our, oh, I don't know what to say, but we had been testing our disruptive technology, and it didn't work as well as we wanted it to. And so like a year later, after making all these changes to the prototype, we discovered, and this was at a time when we weren't really able to test, we weren't in a testing time, so we discovered that the lens was actually on backwards. And so by turning the lens on like 10 times, kind of an embarrassing story actually, but apparently it was kind of funny because it was like there was this video that said that it didn't matter which way the lens was, but that turned out not to be true. And so just by flipping the lens over, we were like, oh, we're going to increase the power quite a bit. And then so we started generating quite a bit more power on our most recent test, which is also, I believe, on the website. It's still, well, of course, we want to generate as much as we can. However, there's still lots of improvement that can be done. So part of what I wanted to, I just, I got to go see what's happening. Hello. So I just had to go and talk to my son, and he's 15. He's really good with this technical stuff that I'm not so good at. And he was just telling me that the link that Larry got was bad. So here he comes. So hey, Larry. I was just telling the story about how we had the Fresnel lens on backwards, because I think we just kind of talk about the stumbling blocks of new technologies in general, but specifically disruptive technologies like ours, stumbling blocks. So do you want to give your perspective on the backwards lens, I guess, fiasco?
Yeah, stumbling blocks and inventing new technology. It's like you get out of bed and there's one right on the foot of your bed.
Okay, but it's not stumbling blocks, it's overcoming stumbling blocks that we're talking about.
In disruptive technology, I guess everybody's got their own take on getting through stumbling blocks. It was something I was trained to do when I attended the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology's Center for Entrepreneurship. That was one of their main focal points. And I was only one of a few inventors in the class, and I'm not sure if the other inventors in the class went on to receive patents for their inventions. However, what that instilled in me, and probably every entrepreneur understands this, that when something arrives that is almost like a wall, you have to figure out a way. Are you going to go over it? Are you going to go around it? Are you going to go under it? Or are you going to blast through it? Those are your options. And so getting over stumbling blocks is a huge issue, and it really takes a matter of opening your mind and opening up all your senses to receive information, probably from infinite intelligence, for lack of a better term, to provide the solution through the stumbling block. With in respect to what we've been doing, there's been more stumbling blocks than I'm actually used to. So it's always seemed like a real big challenge for us. How I went about doing it, I think the best bet with any kind of disruptive technology, when you're inventing or coming up with some kind of disruptive technology, is contacting someone who knows more on the topic than you do. So years ago, before the internet, that meant making phone calls, actually going to the library first to find out who the heck do I talk to about this and where do I find them on the planet. And years ago, it was the United States is where I went to get a lot of information, get over stumbling blocks. And we're talking over 20 years ago. Today, with the patents that we have with King Sunshine Solar Systems, the way we've gotten over our stumbling blocks has been by using the internet as our tool for contacting people, not so much in North America, but globally. The Google is kind of what I've been using ever since it came around. I used to use web crawler as a search engine, and now Google has become so powerful. I think everybody's kind of using it for getting over their stumbling blocks. But it's a matter of finding the right person that knows more than you know to hash out the solution, how to get over the stumbling block, around it, or underneath it, or through it. And recently, I think it's kind of been a balance for us. I haven't contacted Europe a lot. I still contact the United States quite a bit because there are those, although a lot of manufacturing equipment and technology has been shipped over to China and other Asian continents, there are a lot of people still in the know in the United States that they're still living there, and their jobs have changed quite a bit. However, I know that when we were working with their silicons, silicons have been part of a lot of my inventions over the years, and I've watched the companies that provide those materials change dramatically. I think probably one of the biggest suppliers of silicons would be Dow Corning. Now, Dow Corning used to have a wicked intelligence base in, I think it was Midland, Michigan. Sounds familiar. But anyways, they had an 800 number. You could call there and get any kind of information you wanted whatsoever regarding their product. And this, for me, it was 20 years ago when their products for molding were relatively new. They're kind of old, and they're actually getting out of the business. And they're sold by another company, an offshoot. And those people that were there, they're no longer there. Those experts are no longer at Dow Corning. And so I've contacted Bacher, which is a German company for information, and they've been a solid company for years. And this is just regarding silicon. So stumbling blocks wherever they crop up in what we're doing, when you're working with the sun and solar, not only is it's a disruptive technology, it's not like the automobile. It's like photovoltaics are the Model T, and there's not even a Chrysler or a GM or anything like that out there, Chevy product. It's all photovoltaics. So there's not a lot of knowledge base to focus in on yet, but it's growing. There's a lot of things starting to happen, and I still think, though, with the global economy, the amount of knowledge and the business savvy that China has is just mind-blowing. like to contact a company in China and to get things done. Boom. That's what the Americans used to do for me, and now China's doing it for me. For getting over my stumbling blocks.
Oh man, people are not gonna like hearing that where we live, but I think when we get to Asia, people are gonna love us. We can offer such an opportunity to places with dense population where it's not really even an option in some of like these places in China to have everyone be able to have a motorized vehicle. Like at least where we are in North America, it's pretty much the norm that almost every adult of driving capability pretty much does drive. There's no transit system, and people usually go significant distances because it's a farming community. So, yeah, everybody here has a car. But if that happened in Asia, like already, I don't know what the percentage is in China for like Beijing of how many people have cars, but it's like not as high as here, I'm sure. And they
I have
already
numbers on that from
air
last
quality.
night if you want.
What? What was that, Larry? Oh, and Japan, he's joining us. I can see him coming. I don't see him yet, but there he is. He was wondering about getting a Fresnel lens somewhere in India. And I told him to just Google projection TV for sale. And I don't know. And like I said, I told him that we got ours in recycling. Do you have
Yes.
any ideas where you might get one in India, Larry?
Yeah, hey, Japan, you got a new microphone. I actually heard you really loud there. That's good to see. Where to get a Fresnel lens in India? I think if there's not an area or if there's not an abundance of big screen TVs, it would probably, I don't know what shipping costs are from China to India, but they're probably a lot less than it is from China to North America. But I was just on the phone with a manufacturer of solar Fresnel lenses in China. I was actually on the phone to their distributor in California. However, they're linked up to a company in China. But do you think there are you familiar with the big screen TV? The big, they were
You
like
saw
big
the
giant.
video.
Oh, okay.
You saw the video, right, Japan? With they took apart the TV and got the magnifying lens.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah,
You,
you don't know anywhere in India where you might find one. I don't know. You'll find one, I'm sure. And at some point, we might start using these other uh, specifically solar ones. What can you talk about that a little bit, Larry? About why the ones from the TVs, for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, the Fresnel lens that we use, we actually sourced from a recycle company, and they come out of certain types of big screen projection TVs. And here where we are in Canada, a lot of people have opted for LCD and flat screen and these plasma TVs and stuff, and so they're big projection TVs. They just recycle. So we ended up with some of those. But in India, we're not really too sure where. At least I'm not. So, but Larry, can you talk a little bit about
In
the
India
different?
also there are LCDs and LED TVs.
Oh,
Hello.
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 Hi. I can still hear you. Can you still hear me, Japan?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I think Trish might have a problem with her connection.
Oh, I can hear.
Oh, she's there.
Okay.
What was the question again?
Oh, I was just going to say to talk about the difference between the lens on the TV and the specialty one that you were talking about today on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Like,
The
what was the
lens.
difference between the two? And I don't know anything about it.
The lens from the big screen TV is, they explain it to me as being a magnifying lens, and the lenses that they sell are specifically for concentrating solar power.
So you don't
Okay.
know anything about how they're made differently? Because honestly, the one that we have seems pretty good for concentrating the sun. Like, it did light your pants on fire instantly, and it burned through a cookie sheet. Like, once you get your lens to pan, I know you'll find one somewhere. The universe will send you. Somebody in India is going to buy a plasma TV, and they're going to go, I don't need this. Somewhere. So once you get it, you will be amazed. Be careful, because you'll start fires really quickly if you're not careful. It's just like using a small magnifying glass, but bigger.
I'm answering his chat.
Yeah. No, it's called rear projection, and all those other TVs are ones that are the new ones. So it's an old kind of big TV, just like in the video. Yeah, the TV in the video.
They're like big giant boxes.
Now you know what it looks like, so you can keep your eyes open, and I bet you'll see one going off to the garbage because someone will buy the plasma or LCD one that you're talking about, and they won't want this old type that we're talking about. Yeah, just look for one like in the video.
Yeah.
If you try like used stores, because it's an old kind of TV, so if you go to used stores, it's not the glass kind of TV, but it's the old big one.
You asked me what the difference between the solar Fresnel lenses and the big screen TV lenses are. Generally, the big screen TVs are designed for magnification, and the solar Fresnel lenses are designed strictly for solar, so they're more efficient at allowing the sunlight to go through them, as well as the number of lines per inch, or they call them grooves per inch. The lower the number of grooves per inch of the Fresnel lens is the more intense the light can be when you're using it for solar. So I would assume they gave me some numbers from China as to what the lines per inch, well, it was lines per millimeter, so I'd have to do some math on it. However, that is a big part of what makes the solar Fresnel lens different than the ones from the TV. I know the ones from the TV work very well. I have never, and we've never tried the lenses from China that are strictly for solar. If I was starting from scratch and being is the shipping from China to India rather inexpensive, or is it really expensive?
Okay.
Is it expensive to ship, say, something from China to India, or is it relatively inexpensive?
Okay.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, do you think it do you think it would be expensive to send it from China?
Hello?
Hi. Would it be expensive to ship something from China to you in India?
Yes, yes,
Oh, okay. Well, in
expensive.
that case, yeah, in that case, I would look for a big screen TV in India if you could find someone who's selling one, or if they recycle these in North America, I imagine they started recycling them in India as well.
Okay,
Yeah, so I know that in the United States, I contacted a company in Dallas that was involved with recycling. They weren't a recycling company like us, but they were involved with recycling, and they told me that they had a lot of big screen TVs. So I think the first thing you'd want to do is contact your garbage or waste management company, whoever does that where you live.
okay,
Yeah, so if you contact the company that does waste management where you live, I think they will be able to tell you what they do with the big boxy, big screen or rear projection TVs. And then you'll be able to say, well, is it okay if I come and I take this front off of it? Because generally they don't have a problem with that because they don't even know what they have. It might be very easy
okay,
for you to do that.
Yeah, to the people at the dump, like a dump, or even at a used store or whatever, it's not very valuable to them because they just see it as a TV screen and it's not a good TV anymore. So it's mainly garbage in a lot of places, I would think. And so it should be pretty easy to find one and just say, oh, can I have that? Like somebody might have one sitting in their back alley. Now that you know what it looks like, though, you know what to look for. It's not one of these fancy flat ones. Yeah, it's this old, bigger, just like in the video. So I think you'll find one somewhere there. I'm sure that people bought them there, like the rest of the world, I imagine. Uh, Probably not as many people. I don't know. People love their TVs around here anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But I was talking about the other things that you might want to look at, but like a bed frame, and I'll get Larry to give you more details. We used bed frames for some of the parts. I don't know if that even still applies. And the other recycled material is in the cars. The cars that have the push button windows instead of the rolling windows, the push button windows have a motor, and usually you can get those at an automotive place, and they're garbage a lot of times. They're part of an assembly, and usually the switch, the button, goes bad, but you have to buy the whole thing with a motor. And so the motor's still good, but the button's bad, and they change the whole thing and just throw it. Like, we have a ton of them being collected for us around here from like car dealers or mechanic places, like the place that you would go to get your window fixed. They probably have some in the garbage, or they will soon, because they fix those. And uh, other things that you can maybe start looking for to put it together, I don't know. Some of it is kind of specialty stuff that you would want to um, somehow get from us, but just to start experimenting with the lens, I think you should be able to find one for free, and that will be pretty exciting for you because you'll get some of your own ideas of how you can use it, maybe even more simply. Because when we first started with the lens to pan, we were only looking to heat up water. So you could very easily take that lens and focus it on the sun and heat up water really quickly, just moving it by hand, not having all the fancy tracking that watches the sun. Like if you just had I've seen a guy on YouTube that had one of these lenses, and he just put it in to a little frame that had hinges, and it could turn upside down, and he just turned it like that, and he was cooking fish. So you can find other things to do with it in the meantime while we're catching up and being able to organize the information so that we can show you step by step how to do it and sell the parts that are going to make it work the best. But initially, you can probably find lots of beneficial ways to use it for, like, heating up water and I don't know. What do you think about that, Larry? And then also, and then any other things that he could think about, materials that we're using that are more accessible? You're muted. Can't hear you.
Sorry. Making
Start
the
over.
frame that holds the lens so that you can point it at the sun is probably the next thing that I would do. Now, depending on what materials you have available to you, what I'm headed towards doing with our prototype is using aluminum, what's it called? Angle iron. And you can use bed frames, but that's really heavy. I would say it's probably also a cheap way to do it is just to use plywood to make the pyramid shape to hold the Fresnel lens on. Because then if you have that, it's really cheap to put together to make the pyramid. All you have to do is make sure the sides of the pyramid match the edges of whatever Fresnel lens you get. And after you have that done, then it's a matter of just pointing it and focusing it at the sun. And you can bring in makes it easy to bring in the target later.
Yeah, and when we started, we just had all of the heat going to first water and then glycol in a tin can, like a tuna can, like those little small tuna cans. Actually, at first we were trying to heat a big pyramid-shaped tank of water, like pretty much the size of the pyramid that holds the lens. We had that full of water, and we were trying to heat that up, and that didn't work. But then when we switched to the tin can, a little like tuna can, then we kind of knew that we were onto something, right, Larry?
Definitely.
So just for the sake of potential value to people that have a different sort of disruptive technology than what we have with solar power, do you want to talk about some of the stumbling blocks, like maybe the most major ones that were involved with your first patents and the plastic recycling company that you used to hold the patents for? Like the most significant stumbling blocks that you guys came across in that scenario.
At what point?
Well, I'm just thinking about people that have different types of disruptive technology, and what kind of information that you had in that previous business experience that might apply to people with maybe different type of disruptive technology than our pyramid Fresnel lens solar heat collector.
Well, it all starts with the idea of whatever you're working on and sticking to your plan, whatever your vision is for your disruptive technology, whatever the idea you have that you're working on, you're trying to develop. I think it all boils down to starting with a prototype. And once you have your prototype, the next, or I shouldn't say the next phase, but as you're assembling your prototype of whatever it is, you might discover that, oh, you need this part for it. You can envision what the part is for your invention, but you're not sure where to get it. And so with that kind of stumbling block, you can use the internet to find things relatively easy. What I have found as of late is if I use the internet and I don't find anything, I start getting ready to phone the patent agent. Just because if something doesn't exist, you might be inventing something that has never been invented before, and you might have what they call intellectual property.
Yeah, or you might not. I remember my my cousin was so excited, and he came rushing over to our place with his idea for a heated toilet seat, and he just thought it was absolutely brilliant and that it was a big $1 million idea. And we Googled it, and yeah, it was like $95. And we thought about it, and even my cousin, who was so excited about it, was like, yeah, I'm not paying $95. So that my butt doesn't get cold. Oh, I had to laugh. But yeah, overcoming stumbling blocks is always it's always easy once it's done. So it's really hard, like unless you're actually going through it, like last week. It's hard to like explain how you cope in those situations because looking back at them, they seem pretty easy. So I think if you can keep that in mind when you come across stumbling blocks, just focus on the end result that you're looking for. So for Japan, focus on try and dream about that TV and how you're going to find it so that you can get your Fresnel lens and start making some kind of fire energy, a lot of energy. It's pretty amazing. It was a very awesome discovery when we got the Fresnel lens. But anyway, so just kind of vision that you already have it accomplished and you've got what you need. If you can picture that in your mind, dream about it, eat, sleep, breathe it, then it usually comes your way a lot quicker than if you spend a lot of time planning for it. So definitely
Just
envision
call the recycling company.
And so
just call the recycling company.
Yeah, call the recycling company and see what they say once we're done the hangout. And yeah, so when you're having a stumbling block of any kind, or you're looking to gain a resource that you don't necessarily have access to right now, if you can just envision the job already being done and keep in mind that once you get to that place that it's done, it's like so easy and you're always looking back at it. And I am not able to come up with a single scenario where I don't look back and be like, oh, that was so much easier than when it was happening. It didn't seem that easy, but when you look back, it always does. So while it's happening, if you can remember that later, it's going to look like a cakewalk, and then it kind of becomes a cakewalk. Yeah. So if you just are focused on what you want to get, it feels good, and it just speeds up the process of actually accomplishing whatever you're after. That's what I find. And then I don't know what else we should touch on, Larry. For Japan, do you have any ideas of any other information that might be valuable for people that are working on disruptive technology?
Oh, you just never want to give up. Quitting is not an option if you want to get something done. It can get very frustrating. I know over the past 6 years, it's coming up 7 years, we've hit some very, very frustrating moments where I almost felt that it wasn't possible to do. I almost felt that it wasn't possible to do, but I never felt like it was impossible. So if you're not able to find a Fresnel lens in India, there should be there's I'm thinking there should be big screen TVs in India somewhere. It might be in I'm not really familiar with the culture or the economics of India, but I'm sure there has been a lot of old big screen TVs shipped there, and people have them in their houses somewhere.
And they're gonna buy new LCD and plasma TVs and push those out to the curb. So yeah, call the recycling company, and then yeah, for anybody out there, if you're interested in such things, feel free to contact us via our website, kingsss.ca, and we can. Well, basically, what you want to do is call a recycling company and ask them if they have rear projection TVs, or if they know if they go to the dump, or what happens to them, because everywhere around the world there are those people that bought the big screen TVs before the new technology came in, and they're being upgraded on a pretty regular basis, I think globally. I would think so. So it should be a pretty easy find. And yeah, people don't know. People see it as a screen on a TV. They don't realize that these are big magnifying glasses. People don't even know that. So, but yeah, they work like a big magnifying glass, and they will burn your neighbor's house down. So be careful.
Have you ever heard of a company called Karma Recycling in India? Japan? Have you ever heard of Karma Recycling in India?
No.
Okay, they're a company, and they're located in, I'm just on their website. Where are they located? Where's Karma? New Delhi.
Okay.
So they're in New Delhi, and what they do is they recycle electronics. So a big screen TV is considered electronics. So I would give them a call or contact them first. Their website, I just searched for recycling in India on Google, and karmarecycling.in came up first. And they will definitely have big screen TVs. It looks to me like Karma does all of India.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say they would be a great place to start. Now, after you get your Fresnel lens from your big screen TV, I'm just thinking back to what we did next. Was we probably built the base for our invention next, but that's going to take a little more work because there's a few more components for it. But you'll be able to do it because it's relatively simple with the power electric window motors, and then there's just some basic. It's called channel steel. I think we used 4-inch channel steel, but that was because we were building something back then that was really heavy. So now you can get away with some pretty lightweight stuff. The actual, once you have everything put together, including the motors, including the stand and the drive mechanisms, the electronics, I don't think the whole unit's going to weigh more than 50 pounds. So the base for it doesn't have to be as heavy duty as what ours was to begin with. Like when we go when we start production of our machine, our solar heat collector, the base for the wheels and everything are going to be much more lightweight.
Yeah, it's amazing how the SketchUp drawing that we have on the website of the invention and what it looked like, I'd say like 6 months ago, are so phenomenally like the same. It's like the vision started off as this like picture, and then all of a sudden it existed, and now it's gonna look completely different because some of the things that we envisioned, it's not that they didn't work, but there's just a better way to do it. So it's gonna be a lot lighter than it was, and it's going to look quite a bit different. I think it'll be a lot more aesthetically pleasing, actually. I don't know. What do you think about that, Larry?
Well, I think once we put there's the company in China that I mentioned to you earlier in the week, Trish, that manufactures the flexible solar panels, and I want to see our housing. At first, I was thinking we weren't going to have the housing like the pyramid shape, that it was just going to be the kaboomer on the inside and then a frame supporting the Fresnel lens. But the more I thought about it, I really like the idea of having these flexible solar panels, almost like the covering of a tent on the outside. The reason why I'd like to put those on there is because of the light that gets reflected as it passes through the Fresnel lens and hits the kaboomer. The light is still being slightly reflected off of the borosilicate window, and when that light gets reflected, then I think it'd be great to have the excess light being picked up by the solar panels to provide even more electricity. Japan, you probably don't know this, but we're not sure how much electricity we're actually going to be generating yet. We're not quite there. We know it's a pretty high amount compared to standard photovoltaics. Like, it's about 4 times as much as a solar panel the same size. Now, when we
technically, Larry, isn't it as much as you want? Because it's the amount of the thermoelectric generators that we purchased and put into the current design of the Electrocrown was only based on budget restraints and just workability. Like, theoretically, you could put as many of those as you want and just keep pumping the heat to them. Like, some of them wouldn't probably work at full efficiency until the system really got fired up, but theoretically, you could make as much electricity as you want with the Electrocrown idea, isn't it?
That is definitely an excellent theory, but as you said, we're working with a minimum amount of thermoelectrics because they're kind of pricey, and we didn't want to spend a lot of money on them just in case the Electrocrown doesn't work. Now that we know the Electrocrown does work and produce electricity, you're right, how many thermoelectric generators we actually put into the Electrocrown, it's scalable, so we're not sure until we try it. And with the fancy insulation we've got on the inside now from NASA, I think the efficiency of the insulation is going to play a major role in the amount of electricity produced by one Electrocrown. What I envision is that Electrocrown being about 5 feet tall and putting enough power out to power your entire home.
Yeah, that sounds great. No more utility bill, everybody. I always say I love my utility bill. I love being able to have heat and warm water and lights that go on and my computer and all of the beautiful things that my utility company provides me. Absolutely love my utility bill. It's just the pain. When you have to pay the utility bill, that part's a little bit painful.
Something
So it would
something
be
I think
awesome
that
to
is
get rid of that.
something that I
Sorry,
think is very important on this hangout is there if there's any businesses watching this that are in the business of manufacturing appliance, for example, we're going to be selling the solar heat collector and the electrocrown to places that have never even used appliances before. So if there's people watching this hangout that have any kind of um, equipment or household appliances that work on electricity, well, we're going to be putting our machines in places that don't even have appliances yet. So it would be really smart for any business to give us a call, and we should probably be talking about partnering with these companies because we're going to be opening up a huge, huge market for them to sell their products to, simply because we're going to be our mission is to have, from day one, has always been to provide electricity to places that don't have electricity, places that don't have reliable electricity, places that want electricity but are so remote that it's not cost effective to bring electricity in. Now, I think the infrastructure is there. The companies are there selling their products, their electrical toasters, microwaves, whatever. But we're going to be providing our knowledge to countries that don't have reliable electricity. They will now have reliable electricity just like anybody in Canada or North America has. Pretty much everybody in Canada and North America have reliable electricity. And that can't be said for the rest of the world. There's a lot of places that do not have electricity. So by us providing our machine, that our powerful machine, I should add, for individuals to provide their own electricity, that's going to open a huge market for those manufacturers of equipment that run off electricity. I think that's very important that they know that.
Yeah, I think that it's absolutely amazing how big this vision has really gotten. And I was actually just having a conversation with someone, can't remember who, and we were talking about they were talking about the infrastructure and the infrastructure that you'd have to change and all the infrastructure, yada, yada, yada. And the benefit of dealing with third world countries that get the maximum amount of sunlight, or at least the most reliable amount of sunlight, as well as countries that don't have any infrastructure already, because we may have to build a fair amount of infrastructure for this technology, and so it just makes more sense to build it where it doesn't already exist, because what's here works and people are resistant to changing it. But places like Costa Rica, where everybody doesn't have a TV, well, everybody wants a TV. Like, come on, everybody wants a laptop. I love this thing. It's amazing what I'm able to do with it among so many other electrical appliances. And so cheap electricity, energy from the sun that's like affordable, that is such awesome value to give the world, because all of the sudden all these people in all these places can enjoy a lot more of the lifestyle that we have here in North America. Because the honest truth, like we talk about, we are spoiled here. And some people actually have, actually as a culture, we've kind of lost our work ethic because we're spoiled. We got machines.
Clean drinking water. How much of the world doesn't have clean drinking water?
Yeah, we take for granted our clean drinking water. We have machines to wash our laundry, machines to wash our dishes. And so giving that to other people that want that, that don't have it, without having to burn so many fossil fuels, and doing it at a price that they're able to pay, it's just the vision. It almost brings me to tears at how big this vision just continues to get. And yeah, it's a little overwhelming. But you know
Keep in mind
that
that when we started this, with this project, one of the first things we discovered before we even went to Dallas is that we can purify water for it, with it, without the use of the electric ground.
so yeah, hopefully at some point the hangout will go viral and we can be showing people all over Africa how to, well, giving them Fresnel lenses and showing them like simple things that they can do with them, like cooking their food instead of having to burn their trees and stuff, which they need for shade and keeping the soil in good shape and stuff. And so they can cook their food with these lenses rather than having to burn down their resources of trees or even coal or anything that they have to pay for. It'll be like, it's just going to be so awesome. It's like too awesome for words. But I'm super sleepy, everybody out there on the internet and otherwise. We'll let Larry wrap it up with whatever he has to add, and then I'm going to see if Tapan has any last words for us and call it a night. What do you think, Larry?
Well, like as you were speaking, I was thinking of the possibilities of the different applications for the solar heat collector without the electric ground. It's great to provide electricity, but if you don't have any appliances yet, I think the first thing you're going to want is like good, clean drinking water, purified drinking water, which we know our solar heat collector can do. But the thing that I find most important about this disruptive technology and the internet and the global connection that we've got is we don't have to sell a product and ship from here to India. We can show people in India where to get the parts, how to put it together, and how to start cleaning their own water right off the bat. That, I think, is so important. As long as they have access to the internet.
Yeah, which is getting better all the time, I must say. So, what do you think? What do you think about that, Japan? Is there places in the city that you live where they could benefit from having a really easy way to clean water? It's a distillation.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's maybe a starting point. If once you get your lens, until we can catch up to being able, like I said, to organizing the information for people and teach them successfully how to duplicate what we're doing, and also more proving that it works. But in the meantime, we can show you how to take the lenses and show other people how to take the lenses and clean up the water. It's pretty simple, isn't it, Larry?
Okay.
You're muted.
Okay.
Sorry, it's really simple, and to show people the power of the sun and how efficiently the sun can purify water. I'll never forget those first experiments we started doing out on the land with no electricity and boiling water in the middle of a field, turning it into steam. And now, 4 years later, since then, the amount of power that the kaboomer creates, I personally, right now, I'm not able to imagine what would be happening if we were running water, dirty water, through the kaboomer rather than running the liquids that we're running through it now at 200 degrees Celsius. It would purify water very fast. Probably be the fastest distiller around.
Yeah, but in the meantime, yeah, we can show people how to do something really simple. But we're pretty close, I think, with being able to, it shouldn't take long, but I think it's much more effective if we just give you the information as you need it to pen, because I think it can get overload and too much to know all the stuff that you're going to have to do. So if you just take it one step at a time And let us know as soon as you are able to locate a Fresnel lens, and we can kind of give you some ideas of what to do next, as well as anyway.
Pharma Electronics. Did he fall off his chair? Where did he go?
But also, I was going to suggest that it would be a good idea to have someone there in India that is close to Japan that he can work with on this, because there's always two heads are better than one, like they say, and there's always you know, if you can have an extra person asking about these TVs and stuff, it might make the search for a TV faster, and also it's just good to have someone to bounce ideas off of that, and just to be working together. Like, I know me and Larry have pretty much just been masterminding between each other and friends and family since we started this company, and we've just started to reach out to the broader community to get input on what we're doing, because, well, just because, actually the reason is because we have kind of a little bit of a stumbling block with our last experience with business, and so anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, we're just we just realize and we perceive that the landscape and the market is changing so quickly because of technology and the internet and how fast it's all moving. We can foresee that it's super important to always have people that you can get feedback from about what's going on, and just getting ideas and stuff, because it's always changing. And if you try to do things and figure things out by yourself sometimes, I think it just takes a lot longer. So if there's anyone you can think of, Japan, like maybe even not there with you, but someone that you know that would want to work with you on, well, looking for this lens, as well as coming up with other ideas of how to use it in India, where you live, because we've specifically designed our prototype because where we live, it's freezing temperatures. So to use water and to be heating water, it would only really work here in Canada like 4 or 5 months, because the other 7 months everything's frozen, and the water would freeze every night. And of course, when the sun came up and the machine starts, it's going to take longer for it to work, because it has to melt the ice. So we're using a fluid that does not freeze. It's like an antifreeze type fluid. So, but where you are, I'm not sure what the climate exactly is like, but I'm pretty sure it's warmer, and so you probably don't deal with ice other than in the mountains, as far as I know. So the same ideas can be applied in a different way. So I think it's just helpful to have somebody else close by that you can communicate with on putting this together to be useful where you live. If that makes sense? Because, like, I don't know. Anyway, we lost Larry, and I'm kind of tired, so I think I'm going to go now. All right, Japan? Did you have anything else?
No.
No? Okay. Well, yeah, good luck. I really feel strongly that you're going to, now that you know what the TVs look like, you're going to find one. You're just going to see it, and you'll be able to get your lens. I was just gonna end the broadcast. Larry, did you want to say anything else?
Just Japan, if you have any questions, just let us know.
No.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. If I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture, 6 a.m. Nighty-night. Bye.
Bye.